And that's kind of how I look at it with a small portfolio, right? If you have, low five figures or high four figures, right? Basically, I always use this example like 8,000 to 16,000. If you're anywhere below there or in between there, that's like your range, and you're trying to get to six figures, like it's gonna be real hard by only buying Solana or only buying ETH or only buying Bitcoin. Like that's gonna be a challenge. So like you need to be early to narratives, and especially narratives that are on chain. Like that's where things are starting, right? So if you're looking to 10x something and the first time you bought it was on Coinbase or Binance or any centralized exchange, it's like, my brother, I got bad news for you. You're already late, man.
Welcome back to another episode. It is me, Winston, with Metarise, and I am always joined with the one only, Justin.
Hey, it's but would you shoulda, you coulda, but would you sell the tops, take profits? That's what we on this year, man. That's what we on this year, man.
What a year. Back at ETHDenver, doing another podcast. The tone is different this year. Can you feel it? Do you see it?
The vibes are definitely higher. You can tell some people did take profits already. You know what I mean? They out here. There's definitely some on the prowl out here. So, yeah, the vibes is definitely different.
The vibes is different. That's what we're here to talk about today. We're here to talk about how the market has changed and what's the narratives. Where is everything going? And also, we met some cool people out here. Hopefully, they can join us on this podcast today. But, Justin, people want to know, what else you've been doing? What else you got going on?
Oh, man. Well, I got fired in January. You know what I mean? So lost my job. But I really feel like it was a blessing in disguise. One of those things where, when one door closes, another opens. Because I feel like the market really started to pick up crypto-wise in November. And, ever since then, it's just been on a nonstop tear. So really right now, all the time you can take to really dive deep and figure out what's going to be coming next or identify any narratives that you can point out and get to early, I think is going to pay off dividends. So that's really where I've been at.
Man, yeah, absolutely. And you've been getting busy, man. And, we had an offline conversation earlier, and I was just telling you how your energy kept me in the market. And I've been here for a while, and I had conviction, but that conviction waned. Life gets real. And when you're just seeing all that negative news on top of negative news on top of negative news, and me kind of being a perma bear already, this dude's energy right here.
My man right here. Nah, because I remember we had talked. We were on the phone. I remember because I recently bought a house. So shout out to that. Shout out to wifey back at the crib. And I remember being in my driveway, and I was on the phone with you, and you were like, "Yeah, man. Like I just don't know. Like whatever energy you were giving me was not what I was looking for." And I was like, "Hey, yo, you my boy, and I got nothing but love for you. But I'm gonna have to go because I can't have none of this type of energy around me. Like it's up only mode." And I was bullish at that time. It proved to be like a really good time to be bullish. And I'm still bullish now. So hopefully I rubbed off on you a little bit and get you in the spirits.
Nah, man, we all need accountability. We all need partners. And there was a podcast that you did a while back with the bear. I forgot the
friendly bear.
Friendly bear. And it was something that he said. He said when you have that feeling of wanting to throw up, it's like that's the time to buy.
Yeah.
And you need people to remind you, like, hey man, like, what you doing?
Yeah.
You're not talking right now. So man, yeah, I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean that's like echo that as loud as you can, really, because there's already been times just in this last run up, right? Like I got into Coinbase like at a fairly good time, and Coinbase has been performing really well. And it had a pullback down to like, 50% pullback, something like that. And I was like, oh my God, I'm an idiot. Like I should have, could have, but would you? And then I was like, wait, like, what are you talking about, bro? This is buy. Like, what do you buy right now? This is the time where you buy it. And then, that Coinbase had pulled back to like 112, and now it's at like, when I look here, 205. So that was exactly like I had that feeling where I was just like, yo, I'm so stupid. What was I thinking? But luckily, clicking that buy button and looking back today, which is only 6 weeks later, is like best decision. You know what I mean? So
absolutely.
I definitely would just want to echo and kind of double tap on that. Like if you have the feeling where it's like, oh my God, I need to sell, like it's going down so much, I'm losing so much, that's probably when you need to buy.
Yeah, man, that is so true. And that's some of the things that, we want to reverberate here as well with MetaRise, talking about financial literacy, that psychology around money. things are on sale. We'll see a pair of Jordans on sale. We'll see a Louis Vuitton purse on sale, and it's like, oh, it's a good deal. Oh, the vacation is 50%. This stock is down 50%. This crypto's down 50%. Like, and it's interesting, man.
Yeah,
So
those
interesting.
mind games, man. It's really hard, especially like for me, like speaking from my situation, when you start going to placing, I call it bets for lack of a better word. You're placing bets with larger sizes, right? That 5% move, 5% of $100, okay, that's a little $5 move. 5% of 10,000, you're like, oh, hold on, what's going on here? So like, you really got to, kind of talk to yourself and be able to talk yourself down, keep yourself calm, and understand that hey, market is a cycle. As long as you can understand the cycles, whenever you feel like you should be selling, well, let me say, on a pullback, when things are pulling back and you feel like you should be selling, you should probably be buying. And if you ever wake up one day and you just like look at everything, you're like, dang, it's so high, I should just sell it all. If you're gonna be happy with that, like go ahead and sell it all, man, because it definitely can be heartbreaking looking back and being like, I had what? I could have
Yeah,
had what? I should
yeah.
have had what?
Man, dude, trust me, I know. So hopefully we get to talk about round tripping later on in the conversation as well. 'Cause that's part of the strategy also. And since you shouted out your wifey, I gotta shout you out too, wifey. So you're part of the reason that I'm here too. Appreciate your support, baby. So couldn't let that one go. So all right, man, let's get into what the market is doing. Where we at? This time last year, I recorded a podcast. You jumped on it towards the end of it, but it was bearish like a mud, and I mean, those things were true. However, and even though Warren Buffett hates this space, or maybe doesn't hate it, he really dislikes it. The stuff that he says is so true. Where other people are fearful, be greedy, and vice versa. So it's different right now. Is it different this time? I'm thinking that might be the title of this podcast. It's different this time. It is different, but is it?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where like I haven't been in the game as long as someone is like Warren Buffett, right? Or R.I.P. to Charlie Munger. I wonder if he ever got Bitcoin before he went. But anyway, I haven't been in the game, right? As long as some of those type of OGs, or even people in the crypto space, or I'm sure even some of you guys watching, that are watching this. I haven't been in the game as long as that. So the calluses that I've built up might not be as strong or as tough, or might not be in the same spots as someone else. But from like the outside looking in, it just seems different when it comes to the inflows, when it comes to a asset class that is now available to the entire world, which it always was on chain, but it wasn't easily accessible. And now this asset class is extremely accessible to the quote unquote normies, right? And so I mean, I don't know, man. I've been looking at Bitcoin's the inflows into ETFs, and every day after day they're reaching new all-time highs. I've been looking at Coinbase's inflows and like how many the Coinbase App Store went up 200 spots in one day. Um, so I don't know if that's quite different, but I think there are opportunities that if like you got your eyes open, you can catch right now. And I think that's the biggest thing, right? So whether it's different or not, like make it different for you, right? Make your situation different. And I think that's the biggest thing people should try to take away.
Man, absolutely. And you talked about the inflows into the Bitcoin ETFs. So to date, $5.7 billion. I mean, we're talking a month and a half, and just in BlackRock alone, 500 million a day,
A day.
a day. So that is no small number. And I remember when Hester Pierce was on a broadcast, and she was just talking about like the crypto world doesn't really know the money that is really out there compared to, or at least the other lady that was on that podcast with her. They were saying that crypto really hasn't seen like this type
Like
of
real
inflow.
money. You know what I'm talking
Exactly.
about? Not when I say the boy got his own money, the boy got his own money. You know what I'm saying? So they haven't seen that type of inflow. And I mean, like I said, like I think one of my best attributes is knowing that I don't know it all and being okay with that. Like, hey, I'll give you what I know and I'll share what I know, but like I'm not gonna discount something just because like I'm unaware of it. I'm gonna sit there, listen, learn. We're at ETHDenver right now. There was a booth over there. I'm sitting there listening to these guys talk. We start talking, and come to find out they just got into crypto, and I'm like, oh wow, but I still learned something, right? So
That's right.
there's always a chance to be learning, and I definitely agree that we haven't seen the type of money that is really possible to come in here. We always joke about Asia's waking up, Europe's waking up, I think the whole world is waking up right now, so maybe this time is different.
Absolutely, absolutely. So the money that's coming in, the new money that's coming in is institutional, and it's so interesting. And it's like when you really think about the process, even though it's going into ETF, they still have to buy that Bitcoin, which is restricting that supply. And I'm just like, man, I had to sit and think about it because it's not retail, but they are still restricting the supply. And I'm just like, we kind of know from the past cycles, and that's it's not to guarantee that it'll happen again, but we see that it goes from that M1 money in crypto, M1 to M2 ETH, and then the rest of the altcoins, and we kind of know how this game goes.
Yeah, you know that someone's going crazy over there. You know how that ladder and effect works, right? So you got, obviously Bitcoin money flows down from the top, right? So Bitcoin down to those major large caps, Ethereum, Link, the top 20, and then it goes spread out. But I mean, my game plan. You want to get into it now or not? Like, my game plan.
It's coming.
This is not like, hey, if you hold Bitcoin, shout out to you. I'm rocking with the orange coin. I want it to go up. If you hold Solana, ETH, Link, hams, yams, potatoes, tomatoes, whatever you hold, I'm cool. You in the crypto ecosystem, I'm with you. Let's rock. Let's get this thing to $10 trillion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. So speaking of the narratives and what's moving and what's going, man, you said something and it resonated with me so much on Neo Tokyo TV. And you were talking about
Hold up. Let's shout out the squad. NT, we appreciate you, baby. If you're not a citizen, let me know. I'll get with you. Sorry.
Absolutely. So you were talking about people with different types of bags and the different type of mindsets that they should have with those different bags. And it was so good for me because I've been in traditional finance for a long time. And so, I have my 401k, right? And I'm treating my crypto bags like I treat my 401k bag. Now, if you're extremely risk averse, then that might be good for you. However, if my plan is to 10x this, the 401k plan probably doesn't match with that. So, man, could you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, right. So it's kind of like if you're trying to get from here in Denver back to New York and you only want to take a bicycle, like it's going to take you a lot longer to do that compared to if you're trying to get from here in Denver back to New York on a plane, right? And so you're going to board a plane and now maybe that plane ain't the safest, right? Maybe there was something that happened or there was some type of recall or the doors was loose or whatever. Like it might not be the safest plane, but you're trying to get to New York as fast as you possibly can. So you're going to take a vehicle that is the fastest. And that's kind of how I look at it with a small portfolio, right? If you have, low 5 figures or high 4 figures, right? Basically, I always use this example like 8,000 to 16,000. If you're anywhere below there or in between there, that's like your range, and you're trying to get to 6 figures, like it's gonna be real hard by only buying Solana or only buying ETH or only buying Bitcoin. Like that's gonna be a challenge. So like you need to be early to narratives, and especially narratives that are on chain. Like that's where things are starting, right? So if you're looking to 10x something and the first time you bought it was on Coinbase or Binance or any centralized exchange, it's like, my brother, I got bad news for you. You're already late, man. Like you want to see that at launch and you want to find out all you can at launch, and maybe by the time you do all your due diligence, it might only be $1 million market cap. And now you can buy it at 1 million market cap. And now when it goes to 15 million market cap, right? Let's say you only put, $200 in there. But now your $200 is like almost 2,000 or 3,000, whatever that may be, right? Those are the type of plays that you're going to need to, in my opinion. Like I said, I haven't been here forever, but for me, like those are the type of plays I'm looking for. I want to get into something early enough that I think has either a possible product coming that'll get me there, or it just has a good enough narrative. We all know this is one of the biggest speculated markets there is. So, whether it's vaporware, whether it's realware, or whether we don't know yet, if I can get in a million and that thing goes to, XYZ, then that's how I feel like you can actually make it. Compared to you could put $16,000 in Bitcoin and Bitcoin could do a 2 or 3x and you might end up with, 30, 40, 50,000, which is still really good. But it's not the goals that I'm looking for. So
exactly. And so, yeah, that's something that on a follow-up podcast, we'll talk about as far as portfolio management and that sort of thing. And you need to talk to your financial advisor because this is not financial advice. But what you were talking about was so good because that strategy that you take, that finding the small caps, is so important because and it may happen. XRP Armory don't come from me, but I got people that, and XRP was one of the first tokens that I was buying. It kind of got me into crypto. But I try to tell them like, this is at this market cap, this is at this market cap, this has to do. So basically, what you're saying, man, is so important to achieve certain goals. So
Yeah, especially when people are starting out, I feel like they worry about the price. Like, oh, I'm gonna buy this because it's cheap. It's only 1 cent. I'm like, yeah, but when you're starting out, it's not about the price. It's about the market cap. Like, how much can the market cap grow? Right? Something might only be 1 cent, but it has $100 billion market cap compared to something that's $10, but it has a $1 million market cap. The thing that's $10 is going to go up easier because the market cap is lower. And then obviously there's more that comes into that when it comes to supply and dilution and those things. But in general, all things considered equal, it's easier for the smaller thing to go up higher than the higher thing to go up higher. So
man, absolutely, absolutely. So, I really want to get to the space that you really got it, jumping in. But first, just want to talk about DeFi a little bit. I see that the TVL is going back up. So as of March 1st, 2024, we're at about $91 billion TVL over across a lot of chains. The top three, according to DeFi Llamas, Lido with 33 billion, Aave 10 billion, and Eigenlayer with 9.7 billion. So DeFi Summer 2, or maybe it's 3. I don't know quite where we are. I don't know if we really had a 2, maybe 2.5 or something like that. It's coming back. Like, are you seeing excitement like it was back in 2021, 2022 around DeFi, or what's the next narrative?
I mean, for honestly, like so Uniswap just announced that they're going to start doing rev share, and that kind of kicked off the ball of people like jumping back into some DeFi plays. I looked at charts on DeFi recently, and there are some charts that look good. Like DYDX looks like pretty good. Like it could do something right there. And there's a few others, but like overall, I think holding some of those coins again is not going to get it done. I'm speaking again from my mindset, right? The 8 to 15, 16K and trying to turn that to six figures. So like all my answers are coming from that mindset. And like I don't think holding like, old school DeFi is going to get it done. Even holding some of the newer DeFi is not going to get it done. Like when you look at a Jupiter, which I absolutely love, like shout out Meow. I think you have a great product. I think you're a funny character, man. So keep doing what you're doing. But like that's also a platform that I really love. But when I look up their total market cap, like I still don't think that you can only hold that and get to where you want to be. Right now, Jupiter has a fully diluted value of $6 billion, right? And so it's like now in a bull market, FDV can become a meme, so you don't need to worry about fully diluted value as much in a bull market. It's still something you should be aware of, but their market cap is sitting at 829 million. I think you might get a 5 to 10x, like if you're lucky and if we get crazy mode. But I still don't think that can be the only thing to get it done. You got to dive a little bit deeper into the pot. But if you're familiar with trading and you want to long, like take some longs on some DeFi, I think they call it quote unquote Dino DeFi, right? So the Aaves, the Makers, the Uniswaps, those types of things. I think you can probably find more value in just longing them than holding them.
Absolutely, absolutely. So with the L2s, I mean, we're at ETHDenver, so a lot of excitement around like Eigenlayer and L2s and Blast and some of those things. So I know there's a big upgrade that's coming up, supposed to reduce the fees on even L2s because some of them gotten a little ridiculous from when they first started. Do you think that L2s is going to be where the action is, or maybe something like a Solana where the fees are already cheap, or a Say or another modular blockchain? Like, what's your thoughts?
I mean, so I've been asking everybody these questions, right? I've been like, I'll go in and I have three questions. I'm like, modular or monolithic? See what they say. I'm like, meme coins or Dino DeFi? See what they say. So I personally think that L2s will have. I think everything is going to have a run, right? Just like we talked about how money flows down from the top, money flowing down from Bitcoin to the large caps to the smaller caps to the smaller caps and back to the top. So it's going to be a rotation. I think they'll have their play, but it's not really. I think there's more value to find out there than that. Now, like if you were buying Optimism, I talked about Optimism in July of 2023, and I think that was like there was good value there. Optimism's tech stack is being used by a lot of these other projects, and so like if you're telling me like, oh, like wait, Coinbase's L2, well, I guess L3. So I just learned this, right? That's what I'm saying. Someone told me the other day, oh, like what's your favorite L3? And I was like, bro, don't get me lying. Like, I don't know my favorite L3. I was like, I like the L2 base. And he was like, well, base is an L3. Don't you know they use Optimism's tech stack? I'm like, man, look, we don't need to get into all that. But I think Optimism is a great one. I think Arbitrum is still good because I use platforms like GMX, right? I use platforms like a DMT, Dream Machine Token. If you don't know about DMT, you might want to check out. They just got one of Arbitrum's grants, 50,000. I think it was 50,000. So there's a lot of like little details if you look in. Basically, how can you look? Don't look at what's right in front of you. Look at the next layer, right? So like if I'm looking at Arbitrum and I'm looking at Optimism, that's not where I want to put my bet in. I want to put my bet in on the layer behind those. Like what is being built on Optimism? What is being built on Arbitrum, right? Because now I most likely, no one else is, not no one else, but other people aren't necessarily looking at it that way. They're doing the surface level work, which is like, oh, I'm gonna bet on Arbitrum. I'm gonna bet on Optimism. That's the surface level work. Go deeper than that, and that's where you're going to find the real value. Same thing with Tao right now. Tao AI play, great narrative for AI. It's been going absolutely crazy. Well, there's subnets being built on Tao and projects that are being built on Tao, right? And so if you can dive a layer deeper and get into those, now you're getting like that beta play. Now, with that being said, like Winston said earlier, it's not financial advice because this is extremely risky. You're already risking it in crypto. Then you're already risking it on some like small, like layer 2. Now you're going deeper than that. So you got to understand like the risk that you're having. But like I said, if you're working with $8,000 and you're trying to get to 80,000, 150,000, like you're not going to do it just holding Arbitrum. You need to find the little niche things that no one's talking about now. So in 6 months, when people are talking about it, you already have your bag.
Man, that's real. Absolutely. Yeah. Going that layer deeper. And I think it's kind of a good segue to go into DePIN because, like picks and shovels, like what are people using to do whatever. And that's one of the areas that I'm extremely excited about because I think for a lot of people, it'll make sense. So like, for example, one is Natix that I'm doing, and it's kind of like press and play on your phone.
What was it again?
Natix.
Natix?
Yeah, so it's a drive and earn app, a mapping app. So things like that. We got our Saga phones. You got the Helium mapping on there.
I'm a big fan of Hive Mapper, Honey. Mm-hmm. I think that one's a really good one. I had some friends get into that one. We talked about Nosana. I've been talking about Nosana since like 30 cents. I think it just hit like $7. So that's another one to be watching out for. But really, like anybody that's watching this, if you just Google Messari, MESSARI, DePIN, the Messari DePIN, or Messari DePIN report. They did a phenomenal state of DePIN report, and there's like over like 100 projects in that report. Talks about what projects are currently earning revenue, what are the different sectors that people are focused on within DePIN, and those are like the little things that people, in my opinion, don't do that could get you that edge, right? Like, how do you find out about these projects? I read, I look for it. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. Little stuff like that goes a really long way. So I just wanted to shout out Messari and the team because that was a great report, and it's helped me a lot already.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And it's crazy because you don't have to scratch that far below the surface in crypto. Like, I mean, it really is right there for you. And just going back to why I'm so excited about it. So I'm a pen and pad type person, right? And so with DePIN, people have a physical thing that they can touch, and for some people, like, that makes crypto real for them. For the people that's like, it's all digital coins, and you got to get in the Discord and the Telegram, you got to get in the cabals, and they're like, man, I ain't about to do all that. But I can plug this in here, and I can look at it, and I see it whirling, and I see it. I can, for a lot of people, man, it's web too. It makes sense to them.
Yeah, that's what they get excited about, right? I remember back in our EYL days, we did a lot of calls. And some of the EYL people were, they were new to the space, so they didn't know. They were like, okay, so like when I invest in this, do I get like a physical coin sent to me or whatever? And no shots at them, but it's just like, okay, like you got to understand, you got to meet people where they're at, right? And so for people that I feel like kind of have that mindset and they may not know as much, like going onto Hive Mapper and ordering their dash cam. And then, like, literally, you sign it up, you get it with your app, and then, oh, okay, so it's recording me driving, it's taking that data, and they're paying me for that. That's like a simple, like, one-to-one people can understand. You're taking my data for driving, and you're giving me money for it. Okay, I can understand that. And so I think DePIN can definitely open the doors for a lot of people that are kind of on the cusp of crypto that are looking for something. It'll be like an easy way to get them in. So that's another reason why I'm super bullish on Solana, because it's like one of those consumer chains that like, oh, it's super easy to get in. Quick aside, for New Year's, me and my fiance went out on New Year's. We met like this random guy at this place we were at. I started chatting him up. Oh shoot, he's in the building.
Hey.
We met this random guy. I started chatting him up, and basically I had him download the Phantom wallet, and I sent him like $50 worth of Solana right then and there. And it was so instant, it was so quick, it was like no issues at all. And so I think the more and more applications, or the more and more blockchains, or just the more that crypto adopts that style, obviously that's going to bring more to the total, masses.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, it's so easy, and it seems like Solana is, even from the very beginning. I remember the first time that I went, and Bonfita was one of the first Solana apps that I interacted with, and it seemed like they focus on the user experience and the user interface like right off the bat, and I was like, I can, not.
It's what the game's been missing.
For sure, man. But you know what's crazy, man? Going that level deeper is so important. So like you told me about Nosana, and it was 70 something cents when I saw it, and I didn't buy. So, of course I got FOMO right now, but I was like, okay, I saw that they had the test net, right? And so went out on a limb and bought a computer, and I'm like, man, I'm about to set this thing up. It took me 8 hours to set that thing up, man. I was Googling all kind of stuff, and I'm downloading all these Linux apps and all this stuff, and Docker and all this stuff that I've never done before. Linux, tomato. And yeah, man, so I'm like, going that level deeper, even though it's hard, it's the new thing. It's like learning a foreign language. That's where you really get to the bag, for real.
That's what pays.
That's what pays.
Like you can sit back and watch the same thing that all your friends are watching, and listen to all the same things your friends are watching, and you'll probably do just as well as your friends did.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can go one step deeper, and then when you start outperforming them, they're gonna start looking at you like, yo, like what do you got going on? What are you looking at? And it really just comes down to like I don't know, second order, third order of thinking, like where you're like taking it to the next step. Like, okay, if this, then that. I'm like, okay, well, if this, then that. Well, then if that, then what? You know what I mean? What's the next thing after that? And like asking those questions and finding out that, I think goes a really, really long way. So
for sure, man. So going a level deeper. So we're really going into DGen zone now, and we got the man over there. So we're gonna bring him on in just a minute. But going a level deeper, going into the further end where you really need to know how to swim.
Hey,
the memes, man.
I like the memes, man. We like the memes. So look, I talked about it previously. Like if you have a portfolio that is only so big, like you got to take swings that are going to give you those type of returns, right? To get where you really want to be. And I mean, for me, that's been the meme coin sector. I think memes are a new not a new, because it's been around, but like it's starting to be recognized as a gateway to more marketing, more users, more interaction, more engagement, right? So memes equal more. The more memes, the more, right? And that's just like how I've been looking at things. I also call it the left curve way of thinking, right? So when you look at the barbell, if you're sitting on the left curve, like in 2021, I asked a bunch of questions like, oh, what does this do? How is this going to change the world? Who is this going to help? Where's their product market fit? What are they changing about the game? No, those are, at a high level, those are the right questions to ask. But if you're just looking for the gains, like the things that don't make sense, go up the most. And so if it's funny, if it's comical, for me, memes are the way to go. So some of my favorites out there, Miro, I think it's at like 140 million, absolutely crushing it. It's a meme. Upside Down Cat at 11 million. What else do we have here? We got Lehman Brothers, 4 million. JK, just kidding. I'm not even gonna say the price of that. That's probably irresponsible to even mention that. But those types of memes, right, that are just doing something different, I think are gonna get the attention, and they're gonna continue to go up. Dog with hat, it just broke $1.1 billion as a meme coin. So, I think there's a lot of upside there, and I think that if you take the time to realize what's happening within the meme world, within the meme culture, it's not so. In 2021, I would have just been like, I would have been upset. This is stupid. Why is it going up? It doesn't make any sense. In 2024, you embrace it. You're like, that's why it's going up, because it doesn't make any sense. And so I don't know. It's hard to adopt, but once you get it, you like kind of unlocks, and it's like, oh, okay.
Man, you know what I liken it to? It's kind of like how there's value in culture. So it's hard to put a pin on what makes something viral, what makes something culturally relevant, but people that are in a particular culture know. They're like, yeah, that's it.
That's the one.
Right. And so when we're talking about memes and NFTs, it's that sort of thing. Why are certain celebrities more popular than others? Why do certain people connect? They have that
It
and it's like
resonates.
it resonates. And so you've been getting down in that level in the conversations. You see the art that's attached. You see the language, and now like it's clicking because
You're in it.
you're in it.
Yeah.
You're in the data in the language. It's like moving to a foreign country.
Yeah. It makes it so much easier. And like, when you show up every single day, obviously it's gonna pay off in the long run. And I mean, I've been showing up every single day, so we need these things to keep riding. So definitely hit us up, man. Hit us up on Twitter. We'll talk about some more memes. We can give you some picks. We can talk about that. But
Absolutely.
I feel like we should get to our special guest.
Absolutely. So we're going to take a quick break, watch this quick commercial, and we're going to come back with some NFT talk.